Okay, so let's keep exploring here. We got this guy's soul to read. I did take a couple-minute break to use the restroom, and I heard that our stronghold updated something. Oh, it was just a payday. Never mind. So let's go ahead. Gaius Firemane. Reach out for the soul. You see a young red-headed boy, almost but not quite a man, stalking the steps of a panther, an ugly curved dagger in his hand. The panther treads lightly, jumping from rock to rock, unconcerned by the danger behind him. He bounds up a tree and turns his green-slit eyes on the child, and you could swear he would be laughing if he could. A flash of black fur, and the panther is gone, and the boy's thoughts littered with curses and self-doubt. The boy moves on, walking for days, hunting for something he never seems to find. He sleeps only in fits, a few hours at a time, before he continues, exhausted and starving. Another day passes, and he kills a rabbit. His huge brown eyes almost entranced as the boy slits its throat from ear to ear and begins to eat it raw. He winces at the thought. He winces as though the meat goes down. He winces as the tough meat... I can't read. He winces as the tough meat goes down, coagulated blood running down his chin. Covered in drying blood and fatigue, he falls asleep beneath a nearby outcropping of rock, determined to continue the hunt when he wakes. He does not have to wait long. A snuffling in the undergrowth nearby, and his eyes are instantly open, a small hand on his blade. The great black bear sizes him up, almost triple his size, and goes back to foraging. The boy grasps his dagger, knuckles white and breath in short, nervous gasps. It takes almost a full day before it is done, and he collapses, arm dangling limply from his side. He calls hoarsely, voice feeble. 3 men come out from behind the outcropping, swollen with pride. No longer a boy, the young man begins to skin the bear with their help. Almost like a Spartan education there. Okay. I think we're done in here. Let's go explore the city. I think it's still daylight, right? Not that that really matters. It would be cool if you had to sleep. Like if shops closed up at night and things like that. Otherwise, it's nighttime. Never mind. Well, it doesn't matter. So we're going to keep going. I guess we'll just look around here real quick. Look at nothing. And what do we want to explore? Let's explore this lower tier, and then we'll explore the second tier. And then we'll go up here. This is the last thing we want to do, because I think this is the, where we gotta go to unlock the rest of the place. Glenfathan home. Unlocking this will require the proper key. Look at that, locking up their homes at night. Ain't that clever. Protectors and stale gears. Hello. The guard places his spear between you and the path that leads beyond the gates. I wasn't going beyond the gates. Still, Estermore. The rest of the city is forbidden except by order of one of the Enamfatha. Trespassing in Twin Elms is punishable by death. Nice spear. Compensating for something? How do I get permission? I already know. Just walk away. Yeah, I know. I know. Anything back here? Got some mushrooms. That's nice. Okay, let's go up to the next tier. Looks like that's... Yeah, I know. I can't go. Do not try my patience, Estermore. You shall not pass without the permission of the Enamfatha. Yeah, my goodness. You guys are broken records. Warrior, what's this? Can't get to it. Never mind. Probably just says this is a broken tower or something. The fact that these are Irglamfath, or... Irglamfath? Ingwithin. The fact that these are Ingwithin ruins, I'm suspecting there's going to be another one of those soul tower things. And that's why Theos is here. Maybe a really strong one, since this is like a well-preserved area. Lorelei, Rosethorn. Reach out. You see a ragged child, oil lamp in hand, making her way down an alleyway, mud-encrusted socks on small numb feet pushed forward. Despite the cold, she has eyes only for the barn ahead and the soft hay inside. She fumbles with the lock, hairpin in hand. Despite the cold, she unlocks the door with expert fingers and slips her gaunt frame inside. Somewhere between closing the door and falling to the floor, the lamp slips from her grasp. The flames try the hay tentatively and find it to their liking. Reaching faster, further, the girl screams. Outside, a woman whips through the streets, chasing shouts and smoke. Her hands are moving before she sees the flames, and from her fingertips erupt 3 near-invisible missiles of force. They shatter the barn door, but fire delights in company, and roar larger in response. The screaming has stopped. Skinning herself in iron, the woman mutters a prayer and pushes forward into the inferno. The fire screeches, starving, and she responds with fury and frost and hail. She will not be swayed, and the fire is defeated. The child is weak, chest dry and searing with smoke, but alive. The woman carries her out to cheers and applause as molten sweat dribbles down her silver face. It's sad that happened to begin with, but it ended well, right? Saved the child. It's always good. Bear companion. The rains have run their course, and trade has returned. Sure has. And with it, Tamra's impatience. Who's Tamra? Hearthsong Market. Let's go check out the market. Maybe we'll finally find a golden gun. Ooh. One can dream, right? And I will continue to dream. Okay. Clorn. You see an Orland man crouching over a half-drawn map, intently shading line by careful line. The notes he works from smell of salt and sea, water-smudged scribbles, bracing a mess of illustrations in measurements. He finishes each stroke with precision before moving to the next, slow, deliberate. Nothing out of place. A bell tolls lightly in the distance, and he pauses, replacing the quill with a dagger. He slides into his belt. Opening the door into his shop, he assumes a smile and engages his customers. An older dwarf with a gray-stained beard. The dwarf inquires about a few items, trying on a few pieces of armor, a pair of bracers, but nothing seems to garner his interest. With a harumph, the dwarf leaves, a little too hurried, a little too nervous. The shopkeep grunts, taking a crossbow down from the wall and locking the door behind him. Beneath the tolling bell, the impact of the crossbow bolt barely makes a sound as it stops the thief in his tracks. The shopkeep strolls over to the wailing man, unconcerned as he rifles through his pockets. A potion there, a pouch of silver coins, several scrolls. He had done well, just not well enough. Gotta be a better thief, man. There's Tamra. Alright, Vincenza? Goldspark. Reach out. You see a child, a heavy chain running from her wrist to the wall, scrubbing at the kitchen tile with deliberate slowness. The stain is dark and heavy, but she scrubs for hours, failing to notice the passage of time, failing to greet the moon as it rises. Her small face is hard and dry as she scrubs. When she is done, the kitchen is raw and fresh, ready for a new day, but she is not done yet. Trembling, she approaches the body in the corner. The whites of her eyes grow ever larger as she reaches into a pocket, grasping for freedom, and finding it in the form of a key. She does not notice the blood smeared on her blouse, or the stares of the townspeople as she runs toward the shoreline and the docks in the distance. At least she got out. Elentine. Aldarin. Reach out. You see a band of elves tread wearily through the undergrowth, hands tight on weapons, eyes locked on the forest floor. They move silently, fluidly, a team practiced in the art of the hunt. A distant thud sends birds panicking into the sky, and the group changes course towards the source of the sound. In the lead, a tightly strung bowman scouts so alert he trembles, vaulting over an exposed root. He holds a hand in the air and the group pauses, taking cover behind time-gnarled trunks. There's a moment of stillness before the forest itself rises up to greet them. The creature is enormous, twice the size of any elf, and its endless seeming arms of vine snap toward its assailants, snatching at ankles, arms, legs. One elf goes down and is thrown into one of the trees with a rending crack. Another slips, jumping to avoid the snake-like vines, and before he can react, a vine is around his waist. The air is blurred with arrows as the lead bowman lets loose, giving his companions time to recover. An unearthly howl sounds as a rapier slices through one of the creature's arms, incapacitating it momentarily. Taking his chance, the bowman switches arrows, lighting the wet shafts with slick blue fire. The monstrous mass of vines screeches as the flames take their toll, lashing out at any and all who come near. 2 elves lie unconscious on the ground, another dead, an enormous dent in its skull. The creature falls, finally, but there are no cheers, no celebration. The group is somber as they collect their dead and wounded. Addendum added, a hard bargain. That's Pelagina's quest, right? I think. Maybe? Why am I not seeing it? Oh, it's right here. No, it's not. It's... What is this one for? Oh, right. It's this guy.
Builder's wisdom to you.
You have the look of a hunter, Estremor. Derwin's weapons may protect the woman who seeks out misfortune, but my supplies will help you survive out in the wilds. May I see your wares? Rennet nods. Oh, the pistols. Why do they gotta be pistols in a blunderbuss? Ah. And a staff. You've let me down, man. You've let me down. 2 intellect, only usable by paladins. An ebony spider figurine. We'll buy that. Don't need anything else from me, though. Alright, Ewin. A young girl looks about the market with a disinterested gaze. As you near, she snaps to attention and straightens her posture. Welcome, Mr. Moore, she says with a curtsy. Alari's not here, so I'm running the shop while she's away. She glides her hands in front of the display case of poultices and remedies. If you're looking for herbs, tinctures, oils, or ointments, then I've got everything you'll ever need. I'm looking for Alari. Where might I find her? She lives not far from here. Little girl points to the exit out of the market. Climb up the stairs. At the top, there's a circle of ruins. Do you know it? It's on the north side of Hearthsong. Anyway, her house is right there. The door faces those ruins. Alright, show me your wares. Of course, have a look. I think it's just... I'm not going to want anything from you, probably, am I? Nah. Alright, next up. What's it say? The musk of strange roots and herbs pervades these shelves. Alright, Maston.
Hail, Estremor.
Some food for your travels? I hold here many delicious cheeses and fresh fruit. Tell me about your trade. Ah, my life is simple. It makes a poor tale. I tend the gardens and my herd. And my family picks this delicious fruit you see behind me. The gods have been kind. What do you got? Do not regret it. I regret it. Alright. How about you, Darwin?
Hail,
This
Estremor.
thick-framed woman smiles broadly as you approach. Ah, I see that you heard it. A good blade has a voice, and it sings to its wielder. What weapon called you forward? Do you have a rifle? Tell me about your craft. My weapons speak for themselves, and every man and woman in this market knows my worth. Even that Tamra. I bear the knowledge my father held, and his mother before him. Take up one of my blades, and you hold a weapon 5 generations in the making. Durin snorts. They say I should not waste such fine weapons on Estramoran. I say a good weapon lying on a rack is the true waste. Oh, okay. I want to take a look. Let me see. Look all you wish. My weapons are the pride of Irglampath. I must say, I think I'm gonna be disappointed. Helmet of Darksea. +2 perception. That's an interesting helmet. I'm gonna buy that. 'Cause why not? Now, the armor might be something I want to look at. Not really. The resolve's nice on this. But no gun. No gun. What does this say? A disreputable lord in the Deadfire Archipelago, known for striking secret deals in the dead of night, hired an order of assassins to protect him during his nightly errands. He had them outfitted with magical helms that enabled them to pierce the veil of darkness. Eventually, his paranoia turned on his hired assassins, and he had them executed and their equipment destroyed. One, however, was rumored to have escaped to the Valian Republics, where she became a legend. This worn and scuffed leather helmet fits over the head and covers the upper face. Adjustable leather straps make it comfortable and practical for users of any race and build. 2 crimson-tinted lenses fit in front of the eyes. Nice. It's cool.
Hey.
All right, Tamra, you're my last hope.
Many blessings, traveler.
This tall woman is clad in furred hides. She settles a sharp, dark-eyed gaze on you. I hold here the best hides in Irglampath. Hides so thick, the Stelgare cannot claw through. Boots so supple, they will smother the sound of your steps. What's your trade? I bear it on my skin. I sell hides from every one of Galawain's beasts. Estramoran come from every village to see them, and know us for great hunters. Every hide bears the tale of a great hunt, and our traders bear them in turn to every corner of our lands. May I see? Then here, look upon the bounty our hunters have provided us. Crap. Your hunters are crap.
Hey.
Heavy, oily scent emanates from the hides. The fine-grained wood of the shields has been polished to a smooth, even finish. I don't think I looked at yours. I don't really need to, but ripe and juicy, the fruits give slightly under your thumb. Okay. Unfortunately, still no special gun for Klesia. I don't know. I think we're running out of options in terms of, not options, but opportunities to find one. It's not looking good for us. Okay, so this must be the ruins that they were talking about. Alright, well, let's go up. Tribesman. Pumpkin the Quarg. A tabby cat snaps out of its placid stupor as you approach. It opens its eyes wide, following your every step, before trotting to your side to rub against your legs. You have gained an item, orange tabby cat, added to inventory. Huh. Pumpkin. You see an enormous mane of wild orange hair belonging to a burly man, his expression slightly worried in the small, candlelit room. Across from him sits a portly woman, with a third eye painted on her forehead. She gazes at him and clucks her tongue, standing him upright. He's a clear head and a half taller than her, but it is she who commands the room. She closes her eyes, her hand on his chest, and speaks. She sees a small gray creature, darting from place to place, running, escaping. She chases it, 4 legs bounding, jumping across the room frantically, when she laughs, opening her eyes and withdrawing her hand. Immediately guilty, she apologizes, avoiding his eyes. He demands to know what's wrong with him, what's causing his strange behavior. Before you were born, your soul split, child, she explains, fighting a smile. While half went to you, the other half seems to have become rather feline in nature. He rocks back, expression after expression pounding his face. His mouth opens and closes for several moments before he bows his head, the edges of a smile playing around his mouth as well. Suddenly, he begins to laugh, doubling over, tears streaming down his face. Composing himself, he thanks her and leaves, the mystery solved. Okay, it seems like a weird thing to laugh about. I mean, half your soul's missing, buddy.
Hey.
Or as in another creature. That's not good. That's not something to laugh about. I wouldn't think, anyway. Location discovered, Builder's Hearth. The pedestal's shadow creeps around the dais. Is it like a sundial sort of thing? Alright. Let's go into this home. Maybe this is the one lady. Alari, I think was her name. Hard bargain, addendum added. Okay. Well, there's a lot of people armed here. That's not good. An old elven woman stands tall and proud, surrounded by Glenfathan warriors that study your every move. You speak on Renato's behalf, I presume? I knew he would convince someone to do his bidding. I did not suspect it would be the Istramor involved in all the chaos at Defiance Bay. You're well informed. She tilts her head to the side and blinks slowly. Does the presence of my armed entourage concern you? You were expecting a defenseless shopkeeper, am I right? That doesn't really... I mean, I noticed them, but I'm not really concerned. Like, you're outnumbered, and I'm stronger, so... Alari raises her dye-stained hand just as one of her guards begins to lurch forward. Stillness, she barks at her attendant. Give the Istramor a chance to speak. We are not dear wooden beasts. Here, hospitality reigns. Alari nods to you, holding up an open hand, her palm and fingers covered in blue and green dye. Envoy of the Valian, speak the message you were sent to deliver. I'm here for Renato's money. I want to hear your side of the story. I don't care about the Valian. Maybe I can help you instead. What's your side? The first step of any sensible path, she muses, scratching her chin. Renato did purchase from me several bushels of Elard Gola, and for it he paid a high price, but did so willingly, saying it was a bargain, right as he handed me his copper. It was after our trade that the Valian spit his venom. Alari's voice grows angry. Renato accused me of trickery, of fraud, claiming I delivered withered likenesses of Elard Gola, and not the genuine root. Such nerve, for in truth, he is beyond the help of Elard Gola. She holds a blue-dyed finger in the air, before curling it down slowly, smiling as she does. Renato's old bow isn't firm enough for a full draw. No amount of Elard Gola will give him the spear of a young hunter. A fair deal was made, and now Renato objects, angry that his withered family plow is beyond herbal remedies. She shakes her head, her voice becoming a growl. I've never sold anyone a remedy I knew to be false. If Renato does not silence his slanderous tongue, we will do it for him. What kind of punishment do you have in mind? Renato has slandered his host, making him no longer a guest. The merchant must vanish from the Twin Elms. She crosses her arms under the sleeves of her robe. But Glenfathan hospitality must be observed, always. He is to be given a chance to leave on his feet before he bleeds on his back. Deliver, in our name, a warning. Tell Renato that if he does not leave, he will be accused of conspiring to pilfer Ingwithan relics from our lands. He won't risk a trial by the Council of Enematha. Alari draws a small wooden cage from the folds of her robes. If he won't listen, tell him that his faulty member will end in a cage just like this black beetle. Food for our birds. Jesus. I'll deliver the message. Alari nods at you. Return to me when the Valian has disappeared from Twin Elms. Yeah, I mean, you made a bad purchase, dude. You made a bad purchase. You gotta go. And now, you're in danger. So just cut your losses and go, buddy. I'm sorry about your problems as well. Spread across a lumpy pallet of straw, the The hide blankets are surprisingly soft. The dried herbs crunch between your fingers, giving off a sweet floral aroma. Yeah, because I imagine we were probably going to have to fight her for the money, and I'm not going to kill anybody for your money. She didn't steal. You made a purchase that didn't work out. Like, it sucks. I feel for you, man. Although you probably should have bought, like, you know, a sample, to be honest. Do I have any reason to go in here? No, but we're going to go in there anyway. We do need to bring our druid friend here, don't we? He's got a quest in Twin Elms. Lindsay. Hello?
Hail, Estremore.
Welcome to my home, Estremore. I am Lindsay, healer and guide. What brings you here? Tell me about yourself. The locals have called me a wise woman, a term of respect, I'm sure, but it makes me feel my years. I'm an herbalist and healer. I spend most of my time caring for the ill, helping with the delivery of children, and making remedies for those in pain. I like your songbird. Does it have a name? Well, he does, she blushes, but I ought not to have let my friend's daughter name him. The name is long and rather silly. The short version is Beaker. She rolls her eyes and smiles. The next bird I have will be named after an anompath. I should be going. Nice to meet you, though. Seeds and husks have been scattered across the floor. The edge of the shelf is daubed with bird lime. Where's the songbird that I mentioned? I assume it's in there somewhere. I just didn't see it. Okay. I think we're ready to go into here. Is there a way there from here? From here it looks like there is, but I don't think there actually is. No. Well, let's go talk to the merchant guy real quick first, and then we can go down, or not go down, but we can go into the I guess the main hall, the passage of the Six. Hello, Renato.
How do you do?
Renato smiles broadly and throws his arms in the air at your arrival. My friend! Welcome back. Have you recovered my coin? How do you think the Glenfathans will react if they find out you're dealing in stolen relics? Alari gave me this beetle in a cage for you. She said your problem would end in the same place if you continue your stay in Twin Elms. How do you think the Glenfathans will react if they find out you're dealing in stolen relics? Renato's jaw drops, his eyes lock with yours. You devious cad! I've done nothing of the sort. He folds his arms, puffing out his chest. And just what makes you think the Glenfathans would believe your lies over my good word? They wouldn't, I guess. Alari gave me this beetle in a cage for you. Renato's face turns bright at the sight of the gift. Insufferable witch. She can shove that beetle in her fetid mating hole. Jesus. Gesticulating with every word, spit flies from Renato's mouth as his voice grows louder. Her and her face-painting thugs will pay for this insult. He reaches out to strike the cage out from your hands. Stop. Your booming voice halts the Valian mid-swing. He backs away from you, for a moment terrified of your presence, but quickly regains his bravado and throws himself at you with renewed vigor. Madicho! The Valian merchant shouts at the top of his lungs. Savage, filthy animals, this damn city will burn! You hear a whistling sound from nearby. I'll kill you! Renato's voice gurgles mid-sentence. The tip of an arrow, gleaming red, protrudes from his throat. The merchant quivers in a quick spasm, flailing his arms. He drops to his knees, spurts of blood flowing down his chest. You look up and notice a Glenfathan archer approaching the scene. Well, it's not our custom to tolerate squabbles between an Istremoran. The huntress begins to turn around, but her face lingers in your direction. The faint semblance of a smile crosses her lips. I'm sure you understand. Before you can reply, she walks away, moving with confident strides. Renato's arms twitch a final spasm as the merchant expires in a bloody, crumpled heap. Yeah, well, it happens. And leave him naked there on the ground. Sorry, Pelagina. I hope you don't care that we're leaving your countrymen down on the ground like that. To be fair, I don't think the game really gave us great options there. Like, I feel like there are other ways we could have just been like, "Hey, you gotta leave, man. I can't do anything. They're gonna hurt you. You gotta probably get out of here before they kill you." Something like that. But no, we just kind of tried to manipulate him, which is strange. Anyway, you're welcome into our hearth. What news do you bring? Renato won't trouble you anymore. He's dead. Dead? Ilari's eyebrow raises. Her posture stiffens. I'm not surprised, given his behavior thus far, but the death of a Valian merchant could bode poorly for trade. Reaching into her robe, Ilari produces a small pouch. Still, the matter is settled, and Renato will no longer darken our market. Here is your payment for services rendered. Travel safely, Estremor. 1,200 copper. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, I mean, you could have just given him his money back. Like, seriously. Or, at least a discount or something. Both parties were at fault. Renato was just unfortunate that he was alone in a city of people who were not his friends. And did not appreciate the kind of threats he was making. Although that huntress acted really quickly, huh? Like, there's no need for that. Like, I could handle one merchant. I think I'd be okay. Alright, the Passage of the Six. Let's see what we've got going on down in here. Alright. Crows. The Three-Tusked Stalgare. The Twice-Split Arrows. Are these the name of the tribes? Yes, I am sure the Enemfath will not commune together for a season at least. The Fisher Crane. The Stone Bramble. See what your soul says. Crows. You see a small murder of crows. Haha. Gathered on a dirt path that cut through some dry farmland. They follow this Orlan, who is slowly making his way down the path. They sometimes hop, sometimes fly, gliding after him, but always staying behind. Occasionally, one will alight briefly on his shoulder, only to quickly take to wing again and rejoin its kin. As he nears a small village, a crow lands on his shoulder and begins cawing excitedly. The Orlan smiles and nods as if agreeing. He takes a small crumb of bread from a pocket in his cloak and gives it to the crow, who grabs it in its beak and flies a small distance away to eat its prize in peace. Small children, drawn by the noise made by the crow, rush out to see who the approaching stranger could be. When he has a sufficient audience, the Orlan lifts both arms out at his sides, and, as if they have been trained, the crows flock to him, landing on his hands and arms. They rock, cawing almost in unison, as he stands there quietly humming a lively tune. He looks at the children and begins to tell them strange facts. He tells them of the different calls a crow can make, and what they mean. He tells them the pecking order of crow kings and queens long past, and the times of their reigns. He does this for some time, all the while with his arms bearing the weight of half a dozen crows. At length, his arms seem to tire, and he drops them again, and the crows take flight, spiraling up over his head, and then glide off in all directions, a black feathery tornado dissipating in the fading daylight. The children's delighted screams echo down the road as they run back toward town. The Orlan stands alone on the road, watching his crows disappear in the distance. Interesting. What else we got? The Keepers of the Stone, and the Guided Compass. Where are the fangs at? Are they not allowed here?
Wait. I don't know if I should go through with this. Make the trade deal with the Anamainfath.
The Anamainfath. That's how you pronounce it, huh? Pelagina holds out her arm before you enter the hall.
If a Valiant deal with the Glanfathens weakens the Deerwood, it could mean war for the Republics in the future.
What other option do you have? You've had enough time to wrestle with your inner turmoil. I need to talk to them, the Anamainfath, whatever you said, and I'm not waiting on your conscience. Understand? What other option do you have?
I could put the idea in the Anamainfath's head that the Republics are not interested in exclusive trade, but limited trade of goods that they do not already trade with the Deerwoodens.
It's the right thing to do. The Deerwoodens are at the mercy of the Republics, and they don't even know it. Your actions today can prevent further suffering. Follow your heart, Pelagina. You alone know what must be done. If you do that, I doubt the Dukes will be forgiving. Consider your options carefully, Pelagina. The ramifications for yourself and these nations could be great. That's a terrible idea, and the Dukes will surely eject you from the Brotherhood if you go through with it. Stop and think for a minute. If you do that, I doubt the Dukes will be forgiving. Consider your options carefully, Pelagina. A troubled look crosses over her face. She's clearly conflicted, but nods weakly in acknowledgement. Like, obviously, we stand with you, girl, but, you know, make sure you're doing right by yourself.
Another Estremor. What do you want?
A middle-aged Orlan woman stands at the back of the longhouse, an expression of irritation on her narrow features. As you approach, she takes a decisive step toward you. Zagani leans in. Careful. This woman's young for an elder, and looking to prove herself, I think. I want to visit the other districts of Twin Elms. I'm looking for another who passed through the city.
Few Estremoran are given the freedom of our sacred city. That you ask for this person is suspicious. There are reasons we don't let you Estremoran roam our sacred city. Reasons I am coming to understand.
Mm-hmm. A scowl creases her round face. Has something happened recently? Whatever these reasons, they've got nothing to do with me. You must let me through. I have urgent matters to attend elsewhere in Twin Elms. Perhaps we can work out an arrangement. I've no wish to cause a stir. You're having some kind of trouble? Maybe I could help. Perhaps we could work out an arrangement. I have no wish to cause a stir. She shakes her head. I'm afraid not.
Looters have grown bolder at the sites of the builders. The people of Defiance Bay set fire to their own city.
Yeah.
And every week, the 3 Tusk Stelgar bring news of more desperate settlers pushing at our borders, trying to escape their plague of Anolfane children.
Anolfane children. Their plague. Does that mean they're not affected by it? Suddenly, you feel the presence of someone else in the hall. The Anamainfath, whatever, continues to glare at you, but something has stepped out of her skin. It reaches out to you.
Permitting more strangers the freedom of the city is out of the question right now. Go and be thankful that Anamfath Shimak doesn't sit in the passage of the Six today. He would not be so kind as I.
Whoa. A vision of an Orlan man appears near Bethwell. He has the same green-brown fur and hazel eyes as she does. Help me reason with them, he points behind you. Turning, you see the ghostly shapes of 5 other Anamfatha. Another Orlan with tawny fur and a scarred face, a frowning dwarf, a black-furred Orlan, and 2 elves. Who's that other Orlan? He looks just like you. A scowl creases her round face. Is this your idea of a joke? Your kind have no sense of subtlety. The spectral Orlan takes another step from her, setting his foot down with a slow, heavy motion. Tendrils of essence strain between them, and he grimaces and leans forward as if struggling against a gale. The angry Anomenfath winces. War. The spectral Orlan's voice is a raspy croak. They're headed for war. Remind them of Farewilt's warning. Does Farewilt's warning mean anything to you? I see the soul of an Orlan and Anomenfath with your eyes hovering right next to you. Does Farewilt's warning mean anything to you? Farewilt's soul image gasps. Taut threads of essence tug at him, drawing him back into the Anomenfath. He looks up at you again. I tried to tell them. The Builder's souls have touched even the Estramor.
You'd better explain yourself.
The two attending tribesmen look from the Anomenfath, I hate that word, to you. Their sword hands ready. Her slitted pupils narrow. The Builder's souls have touched even the Estramoran. This other Orlan, do you know who he is? There are other souls in this place and in you. You must listen to them. The Builder's souls have touched even the Estramoran.
There's no way you could have known this saying. Not unless you are a Galuth on Anums, a watcher of souls.
That's me, she gasps as the last of Farewilt's soul fades back into her. The tribesmen gape at you. She takes another step toward you. Yes, I am a watcher. Farewelt tried to warn the other tribes about something. What was it? Who was Farewelt? Who was Farewelt? She looks sadly down at the flagstones. Someone we should have listened to long ago.
Feralt's warning came before the Broken Stone War. Feralt, my ancestor on my mother's side, was Anomenfath of our tribe then. When the Estramoric farmers defiled the Builder's monuments, Feralt urged the other Anomenfatha to patience. But louder, angrier voices prevailed.
She folds her clawed hands in front of her and gazes down at them.
Feralt believed that the invaders could be taught to respect the Builders as we do. He also believed the Builders' souls had spread to all peoples, and that we should avoid needless conflict with others. More practically, he worried that a violent response would only spur further bloodshed across the generations, and you can see where we are today.
What do you mean? After two wars with the Deerwood, his warning is more relevant than ever. At least you don't have the Hollowborn to deal with. Maybe you're better off than you thought. Perhaps the problem is that you weren't firm enough. At least you don't have the Hollowborn to deal with. The burden of the Onolfin has been light on our shoulders, but I am not so naive as to think that we are immune from this affliction, or that its presence among our neighbors does not also threaten us. As I am often reminded, we share a fragile border.
While Feralt's words were shrewd, they were ignored back then. Simply remembering his warning now will not undo the wars and the changes that the years have seen. There is blood on these stones, and that is all anyone remembers now.
She presses her mouth into a thin line. An image of a polished Audric cube flashes into your mind. There is writing on the sides, but the image is too faint for you to read it. The Anomenfath turns away from you and looks at the ground, gnawing a pointed claw. You can't change the past, but your choices now still matter. So give them something else to remember. Sounds like you've got your own problems. Give them something else to remember. She looks at you sadly. I'm afraid I already have.
Another Estramor came through here a few days ago and, well, letting him through was a mistake. One I am eager not to repeat. The Guided Compass tribe has a reputation for being too soft with Estramoran. One that will not be improved by my failure to stop this man who has desecrated our most sacred sites.
That sounds like the man I came here to stop. Maybe I could help. Then now's the time to fix things. I know nothing of this man. What's the harm in letting me through? Sounds like the man I came here to stop.
repeat a mistake in my haste to correct it. We bar twin elms from Estramoran to protect the ancient places that the builders left behind. The builders left this heritage to us to defend, but they alone had access to it. On this much, at least the 6 tribes agree.
You again see the polished Adra cornerstone in your mind. This time the image is clearer. Each face of the stone is inscribed with a phrase you know by heart. You feel your lips form words. A gift from the builders of civilization to the guardians of their legacy. May the guardians watch the door while the builders keep the key.
These were the words given to the keepers of the stone.
Bethwell stares back at you, her tiny pointed teeth visible through her gaping mouth. I know. What do you mean? So can I enter the rest of the city now? I know.
Very well. The city is yours to explore. Tell the guard at the gate that you come to see the cornerstone with the blessing of the guided compass. If the gods have truly returned one of the builders to us, find the Delimgon of Ter Evron in Elm's Reach. If the gods have sent you here with a purpose, the Delimgon will know.
In the meantime, I shall be here to assist you. Party gained 1,044 experience. One of my companions, a representative of the Valian Republics, wishes to discuss a trade issue with you. The Orlan turns her gaze toward Pelagina. Yes, the Valian godlike, blessed of Hylia. Pelagina bristles and quickly spits out a response. So they say. The Anamenfath's face shows no outward emotion, but her voice betrays annoyance at Pelagina's interruption. And diplomat of the Duke's Bells, I understand you were to be sent here with trade assurances from your masters? Revered Anamenfath, it is true that I was chosen to convey these assurances, but understand that I was fashioned more for war than etiquette. The Orlan smirks slightly. In these dangerous times, perhaps it is better to send warriors to do diplomats' work. Pelagina musters a weak smile. Indeed. Anamenfath, regarding the exclusive trade agreement. Her voice quavers slightly, and her golden eyes dart in your direction. Yeah, I'm assuming that this is kind of like the deciding thing. Like, if I nod, she's gonna go with the option that's best for Deerwood, worst for her. If I shake my head, she'll do the opposite of that. If I shrug, I guess she'll make her own decision. I mean, we're gonna support her, so nod head, smile warmly. Pelagina steels herself. The Republics feel it would be in the best long-term interests of all parties if you maintain your traditional good trades with the Deerwood. The Anamenfath's long ears pitch forward. A strange turn. What do the Republics want, then? Pelagina speaks quickly, but confidently. Tara Pearls. Trade will be picking up quickly on them in the Eastern Reach. You will buy them exclusively from us for the next 5 years. In exchange, will be your exclusive market for Adraban and Karogolan for the same period. The Anamenfath considers Pelagina's words for several long moments. An interesting proposition, Valian. We will send emissaries south to discuss the details at greater length. Your appearance here speaks well of your duke's intentions. Pelagina bows deeply. Revered Anamenfath.
That's it. My position in the Brotherhood gone. I can't believe I just made up new trade terms to the Glanfath and Anamenfath.
Yeah, I can't. It's pretty stupid of you to do that. I don't know why you did it either. Pelagina's eyes are wide with panic. Pelagina, you did the right thing for the Republics. Even if the Dukes can't see it from their vantage, you can deal with their disapproval later. No sense crying about it now. It's over and done with. We need to find Theos. Yeah, that's kind of selfish of me, huh? Pelagina, you did the right thing for the Republics.
Verus. They have a saying in Biajepe. New gold clears even the oldest debts. If I'm right, all will be forgiven. If not, there's nothing I can do about it.
I mean, you
now.
could talk with... I mean, she's still right there. You could change your mind. Speak with the Delimgan at Tyr Evron in Elm's Reach. Okay. And the Child of the Five Sons completed. Oh, that was the quest completed. We don't have to like go back to the ambassador. Guess not. Okay. I think we had more options with you, didn't we? Our paths cross again. Gawis on Unums. What are the 6 tribes? Actually, I think, yeah, what are the 6 tribes? Glenfathan society is divided into tribes, which are further divided into clans. Each tribe is united by a particular history or way of life, and clans are communities of families that live together. In truth, there are more than 6 tribes, but the 6 largest have traditionally led the others. Each of the 6 has a seat here in the Passage of the 6, where we discuss matters of common interest. You saw, for instance, the debate that occurred before the Broken Stone War. She gives you a hesitant look. The 6 tribes are the Keepers of Stone, the Fisher Crane, 3-Tusk Stalgare, Stone Bramble, Twice Split Arrows, and, of course, the Guided Compass, who are the Keepers of the Stone. They are the first and oldest of the tribes. When they first sailed to Irglamfath, they met the builders, who gave them the cornerstone, and those words you quoted, as a token of friendship. Many of the tribes, even among the 6, look to the Keepers for guidance and leadership. Their long history grants them a place of honor in our society, though it has also made them more conservative, in my observation. What about the Fisher Crane? A mostly Orland tribe from the Theen Bog. Most of the sites they guard are half buried in the wetlands, and even the other tribes couldn't tell you where they are. She crosses her arms. They are not the most renowned of the tribes, but they are the cleverest and subtlest. Say what you will about the berserkers of the 3-Tusk Stalgare. I'd rather face them than a Fisher Crane ambush squad any day. They're named after a long-necked bird that lives in a bog. In the bog, it can stand motionless for hours, waiting for a muck frog or a spotted salamander, but when it strikes, it's faster than anything else. What do you know about the 3-Tusk Stalgare? She laughs and shakes her head. Same as everybody. They're fearless maniacs, and they want everyone to know it. They're considered a wild bunch, even among Glenfathans. Most of their territories have seen the most conflict with the Estremoran, they don't forget it. They don't want anyone else to either. They inflicted and bore some of the heaviest casualties in the wars with the Estremoran. In fact, there was a rift between 3-Tusk Stalgare after the War of Black Trees. Dozens of clans broke away from the ravaged lands and retreated further into the Deerwood, joining whichever tribes would take them. Broken Tusks, some call them. The majority of the tribe dug into the half-burned forests to hold the line, and many respect them for it. She frowns uneasily. They've more than earned their place among the 6, but they advocate more conflict than is wise, and too many others are quick to idolize them for their valor in battle. And the Stone Bramble? Mostly dwarves out of the White March. They're one of the younger tribes, formed over the years by trade routes between the wilds and the mountains. They see themselves as genuinely Glenfathan, though. And who can argue with them? Only a Fisher Crane defends sites in such inhospitable territory. Personally, though, I'd say it's gone to their heads. They like to think the rest of us have it easy in the lowlands, forgetting that the wars with the Estremoran never reached their mountains. Still, they came to our aid during both. They're named for a tough, thorny little plant that grows in the mountains. It suits them. And the Twice Split Arrows? Not many are familiar with them. They're traditionally outcasts and exiles from other tribes, probably the least respected tribe of them all. But our ancestors believed they should have a voice, and so they've got a seat among the 6. Most of the other tribes see them as scavengers and bottom feeders, but don't say that to a Twice Split Arrow. They think themselves survivors, and they're as proud of their tribe as anyone else. She shrugs. They'll accept anyone, and I suppose there's virtue in that. You never know what you're getting with them, though. Some clans will rob you blind, and others will slaughter a lamb for the honor of your wrist, or your visit for your wrist. The Guided Compass is your tribe, right? Indeed. We're one of the younger tribes, and not one of the most prestigious. We've tried to keep the peace with the Estromorans, which has earned us the reputation of of appeasers among some of our hardline brethren in the Three Tusk Stelgare and the Keepers of the Stone. We value our heritage as Glenfathans, but we recognize that the Estromoran are here to stay. The way we see it, we can better follow our mandate to protect the places of the builders by making peace with our neighbors. Other matters? Tell me more about yourself. I am the Anomenfath of the Guided Compass. Like many Anomenfatha, I have leadership in my blood. While tribal authority is not strictly hereditary, we believe that strong leaders can impart a portion of their soul to their children and grandchildren, meaning that Anomenfatha may succeed from a single line for many generations. She worries a sharpened thumb claw. Of course, with all that's happened here lately, I've wondered whether my family's line is coming to an end with me. Eesh, that's not good. I will try to change your fortune by being on my best behavior in the rest of the city. Alright, well that is where we're going to end this episode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. In the next one, we will continue exploring the rest of the city. We'll get to go to the restricted sections. That should be fun. And doing more quests and finding out what Theos is up to. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll catch you later.